King James
Dæmonologie shenanigans.
Daemonologie in form of a dialogue or conversation, divided into 3 books, written by the High and Mightie Prince James, by the grace of God, King of England, Scotland, France, and Ireland, Defender of the Faith, London, printed by Arnold Hatfield for Robert Walgrave, 1603. There's a spooky pooky uproar in this country right now about these detestable slaves of the devil. The witches, or what they call enchanters, have put me into position, beloved reader, to write with my main purpose to put everyone on notice and establish an agreement as formal treaty between our countries. Not because I think I am so smart or a genius or anything, but it's been placed upon my conscience to make it my business as much as possible to settle the doubts that many people seem to have about some very harmful acts caused by Satan are definitely practiced. And any tools or systems used in these practices calls for severe punishment. But punishment is condemned by 2 major people of our age, whom one is called Scott, an Englishman, who is not ashamed, and even in public print, to deny that there can be such a thing as witchcraft. And he is wrong in the denying of spirits, just like the ancient Sadducees. The other person is called Wierus, a German physician. He has given a public apology for all of these crafts folks and put a lot of care into making sure they are not harmed and punished. And he even condemns himself because he admitted that he too was once a part of the same profession of witchcraft. Now, I tried to make this writing be a bit more pleasing and easy to get through. So, what I did was put it in the form of a dialogue or free-flowing conversation. And I have divided the conversation into 3 books, starting off with the first book, talking about what is called magie, with the main point being about what is called necromancy, that is, working with supernatural spirits. In the second book, we talk about sorcery and witchcraft. And in the third book, there's a deep conversation about all kinds of spirits and what we call specters. These spirits will appear and cause trouble. Some of our folks call them ghosts or haints. Then there is a conclusion of the whole work. Now, my intention in this great undertaking is basically to prove 2 things. As I said before, that 1, such devilish arts have been and are real, and also what specific trial and severe punishment are needed for those who practice the art of magie, and what kind of things are possible in these arts of magie, and by what natural causes they may be. Not that I touch every particular thing of the devil's power, because that is infinite. And since
they do not speak our language,
Kunta, Kenté, Tituba,
we have studied this different species within the institutions of higher learning on a more scholastic and educational level. Now, say for instance, in the first book, in a fixed chapter, the work of Satan, I say this different species, they can call to be brought unto them all kinds of dainty dishes by their familiar spirits. As it is said, Satan is a thief. His delight is to steal. And as a spirit, he can suddenly, and I mean immediately, transport such things. Now, under this mysterious work of the jinn or genie, we can understand all the particulars. Say, for instance, we heard about spiritual acts of Satan, such as bringing wine out of a wall, as we have heard of these kinds of practices and other kinds too. Now, the particular details have been sufficiently proven by what we have come to know by general understanding. In the second book, there are chapters dedicated to proving from many conversations that witches can, by the power of their masters, the devil or Satan, cure or make others have diseases, and for this reason, proves their power of diseases by the devil. There is proof of their special powers to weaken the nature of men and cause them not to be able to get it up or perform for their women. And on the same note, they can make some men get it up or perform over abundantly, much more than the ordinary course of nature. I mean, it goes beyond what is naturally common, as well as their power over many other types of sicknesses. Now, one thing I want you to make sure you observe, and in all of these things that we have talked about, this is really important. We have to think about and discuss the different ends of scope to God on the one side of the scope. The only God set over all things. The devil is on the other side of the scope. The devil is God's instrument. God uses the devil as a hangman. Now, the devil is always setting out to destroy either the soul or the body, or both of them, as the devil is so permitted to deal with others by God. But God, on the other hand, as the main God, does just the opposite. God can use calamity and evil to bring glory unto God, either by breaking down the wicked in God's justice, or by the trying of the patient in order to make changes in those who are faithful, to straighten up many with a rod of correction. Now that I have given you the overall idea of my full intention with the writing of this treaty or agreement between countries, I have no doubt that you will carry it out. I could not let these things pass without any mention. And to be perfectly clear, I bring about this writing to make sure many will know about these unlawful arts of this different species, as well as their unending, mysteriously strange ways, rites, secrets, and odd behavior. These things are not the full reason I went about writing this work.
My complete reasoning is given later on in the third book.
Now, for everyone who finds themselves more curious about the work of witches, you may read a bit more about their practices, if you want to, in the work of Priestess Maven, a collection of work written about the judgment of witches, of real-life confessions of witches while they were tortured real bad. This would cause them to share a whole bunch of their sacred and secret spiritual works. So too, if anyone wants to know what the ancients had to say about the power of witches, they would find it a good idea as well to read the written work of Hyperius and Hemidius, two late German writers, as well as quite a number of other modern religious writers whose work is mainly about this subject. And if anyone wants to know the particular rites and unusual oddities of these black arts, which is both unnecessary and threatening, you can read the fourth book of Cornelius Agrippa, and also Wierus, who I talked about before. And now, I sincerely hope all the work I put into these books will prove to be effective, to equip everyone of the same mindset to get ready for warfare against the above-mentioned misconduct. I offer this work and hope you approve. In all sincerity, be well, James R.